Welcome to the 12 Days of Christmas Fat Loss Edition. For the next 12 days, we're breaking down the real strategies and tools that actually help women lose stubborn fat after 40. Not trends, no extremes, and definitely not more willpower. And yes, we're still releasing our regular weekly episodes too, so make sure you're following the show so you don't miss a day. All right, let's get into it. I'm going to say something that might make you uncomfortable. Your results do not come from the effort you feel should be enough to get those results. They come from reality, they come from patterns, and they come from data. And fat loss does not care how hard something felt. One of the biggest disconnects I see is that women will say, I work out all the time, I eat really well, I'm doing everything right. But when we break it down and actually look at the week, what that usually looks like is that workouts are inconsistent or mismatched for the time of their cycle. Food intake is either untracked or unintentionally under or overeaten. Protein is hit and miss some days. Stress is constant. Not a single woman I know wants to admit that she's stressed out. And recovery is optional. None of this makes anybody lazy, to be clear. It really does make you human. But your body doesn't respond to intention, it responds to inputs. This reminds me of something from my past. A man that used to come to the gym that I owned, he came to me saying, I want to look like Brad Pitt in Fight Club. So if any of you guys remember Fight Club, he was super shredded, which is unrealistic for most humans, but that's a whole nother conversation. What stuck with me was this. He genuinely believed that the effort he was putting in at the gym should have already produced the results he wanted more easily. He felt like it warranted that outcome, but clearly it didn't. And that's the point. The effort you feel is enough does not automatically equal the effort required for the result you want. The proof is always in the pudding. So this is why I'm really big on data. Data ultimately is radical accountability. This is the real science behind data beating the way you feel things are hard. A, food tracking. Listen, I understand that food tracking can become obsessive. It might be, partly diet culture. I understand all those things. I understand that it can be emotionally taxing and just one of those tedious things that you don't want to do every day. Here's the problem with not tracking your food. When you get down to those last 5-10 pounds and you don't know what you're putting in your body, at that point, data is so important. And the amount of fats and protein and carbs that you are eating down to the gram is going to be that important. So how important are those last 5 to 10 pounds? At least temporarily, so that you understand what 20 grams of protein looks like on your plate. B, stress management. If you are not doing things to calm your nervous system and really understand the difference between when your body feels like it's in fight or flight mode or in rest or digest, so your sympathetic nervous system or your parasympathetic nervous system, if you really can't feel the difference and understand how to get your body into a relaxed state, then it's going to be very tough to lose those last 5 to 10 pounds. Your sleep. So whether that's going to bed early, whether that is having more restful sleep, sleeping in longer, having less interrupted sleep, or if you doom scroll at night, if you're not willing to go to bed earlier or put in the effort to have really good, restful sleep, you will not be losing those last 5 to 10 pounds. The next one is mindset. I cannot tell you how many women I come across who, right from the beginning, don't believe that the effort will work. Now, I understand this one because you have proven to yourself time and time again that program after program and workout after workout and diet after diet did not work for you long term. Well, if you're coming in with that mindset, then nothing is going to work. And I just want to quote Whether you think you can or you can't, you are right. When it comes to working with me and my team, you have to come in open-minded and ready to do all of the things that I listed above. And lastly, if you think you are doing everything right, you are doing the workouts, you are eating the macros, you are doing the nervous system regulation, and you are getting the sleep, and you are still not seeing the results. If you haven't done the functional labs and looked at the lab data, then you are still missing a huge piece to the puzzle. Without lab data, your metabolism could be slowing down and you don't know which system of the body is actually causing it. So instead of spinning your wheels and wondering why it's not working, you could do some lab data and actually pinpoint the system that's causing the slowdown. And I want to be very clear about something here. I am not talking about routine blood work from your doctor. I cannot stress this enough. Medical doctors are not looking for the metabolic reason that you can't lose weight. They are looking for disease. So when your doctor says your labs are normal, what they actually mean is you are not actively dying. And that's a really big difference. And respectfully, 9 out of 10 times when women come to me and tell me all their labs are fine, when I look at them, they're not actually fine. Sure, you may not have a diagnosable disease, thank goodness, but something isn't right. And do you want to wait until you have a diagnosable disease to actually actively prevent it? Because if everything were truly working the way it should, fat loss would not be this hard. It really can be that simple. If you're doing everything right and the weight is not coming off, something with your metabolism is wrong. And if fat loss is the goal, running the right labs is not optional. It's part of doing the hard work intelligently. Effort without insight just leads to frustration. Data gives us direction, and direction turns effort into results. Now, here's the other side. Doing too much. There's always nuance that most people miss. Sometimes the issue isn't that you're doing too little, it's that you're doing too much of the wrong things. Too many HIIT workouts or cardio sessions, too little food, too much caffeine, or too little recovery. So you feel like you're working harder than ever, but your body is experiencing it as a threat, not progress. Effort without recovery will never equal results. It equals metabolism adaptation or metabolism slowdown. Now, here's where this can become empowering. Radical honesty doesn't mean beating yourself up. It means telling the truth without drama. It means holding a mirror to yourself and really being honest. Your beliefs matter just as much as your behavior. If deep down you believe this probably won't work for me, or I'm just someone who struggles, or it's my age, or it's just never going to happen for me, then your nervous system is already bracing for impact. There's a reason the quote exists. Whether you think you can or you can't, you're right, as I mentioned previously. It's not motivational fluff, it's neuroscience. Your brain and your body are one. If your brain expects disappointment, your body will conserve, resist, and protect. Not because it's broken, because it's efficient. You haven't messed this up, okay? We've just identified a pattern. I don't love the word failure here because what most women think of as failure is actually this. You've proved that doing this alone with willpower, Google, ChatGPT, half information doesn't get you where you want to go. That's not a character flaw. That's data, and smart women use data. Accountability is not a weakness. Let's normalize this. Seeking help is not giving up control. It's taking it back. You didn't become good at what you do by guessing. You learned from people who knew more than you. You invested time, money, and effort. There's a reason you do what you do for a living. And there's a reason that I do what I do. Radical accountability sometimes looks like, I don't need to figure this out alone. And that's not a weakness. That is leadership and taking control in your own life. Now, your brain and your body being one system. You cannot separate mindset from metabolism. Your thoughts affect your nervous system. Your nervous system affects your hormones. Hormones affect fat loss. You can't mindset your way out of biology, and you can't ignore physiology and expect your body to cooperate. Alignment matters. This is where the real progress becomes predictable. When we look at cortisol patterns, mineral status, blood sugar stability, gut stress markers, we stop guessing and we can finally see where your efforts are matching what your body can actually handle. And that's how forward movement happens. Quick pause here. If this episode is making you realize that you're doing your best without the right structure, that's exactly why I created my free metabolism assessment. It takes about 2 minutes and helps you see whether fat loss resistance is coming from undereating, overtraining, stress load, poor recovery, or metabolic adaptation. No judgment, just clarity. The link will be in my show notes or in my bio on my Instagram. Here's the takeaway. Fat loss doesn't reward effort you feel is enough. It rewards honesty, alignment, consistency, recovery, and data-driven decisions. When your habits, beliefs, nervous system, and physiology are working together, fat loss stops feeling like a fight. Not because you tried harder, but because you stopped doing it alone. Tomorrow, we're talking about why women are so chronically sick and why, when you zoom out, it actually makes complete sense. Make sure you're following the show and come back tomorrow for the next episode of the 12 Days of Christmas Fat Loss Edition. I'll see you then.
If this conversation stirred something up in you, if you feel even a little more clear, more curious, or more inspired, share it. Send it to a friend who's been quietly wondering if the way she feels is just how it is now, and tag me on Instagram or LinkedIn at @MichelleScarlett_. I truly love hearing what lands for you. And if something came up during this episode, a question, a symptom, a story, email me directly at michelle@michellescarlett.com. I personally read every message and I'll help you get clear on what you're dealing with and what to do next. You don't have to settle. You don't have to figure it out alone. This is your space to take your health, your life, and your success back into your hands.